All right. For non-international boxing is going to eat some crow in this video. That, my friends, is a magazine that came to my wife's job with Clarissa Shields on the cover. And pro boxer Clarissa Shields fight for respects and champions social change, the new power suit. All right. From Health Magazine, Clarissa Shields is well on her way to being the biggest female boxing star ever, but it doesn't just end with this magazine. Cecilia Braekus, who is probably the most accomplished female in the history of boxing, gave Clarissa Shields a huge compliment, not backhanded at all, called her and mentioned her along in the names of all the other female greats and the true fighters that love the sport of boxing. So Clarissa Shields, I do believe, is definitely on her way to being the GOAT. I threw up in my throat a little bit when I said that because I hate when I have to eat crow. But this video will be my crow for Clarissa Shields. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. First things first, I began watching Clarissa Shields as a fan of Clarissa Shields, truly enjoying Clarissa Shields. She's a two-time Olympic champion. She's now been, I think she's a unified, she won championships at 168. I think she's undisputed at 160. And I think now she might be going for a second undisputed championship at 154 pounds, I do believe. Regardless, she, in just having I don't think she's had 12 fights. If she's had 12 fights, excuse me. But a very few number of fights in those small number of fights, has really achieved a lot. And I was a big fan of Clarissa Shields. And then lightning struck. And when I mean lightning struck, I mean her brother struck somebody upside the head, and a 70-year-old man upside the head when he wasn't looking from behind, and cracked his chin, gave him bleeding on the brain over some ridiculous argument that he had with Clarissa Shields' sister. So when people were started jumping to the defense of Clarissa Shields of the situation and explaining to me how Clarissa Shields, how somehow this 70-year-old man, Ali Bashir, deserved that, as a guy that is, closer to 70 than I am to 30, I thought to myself, oh no, sucker punching old men, that's just something I cannot defend. And it couldn't help but taint my feelings for Clarissa Shields a hair. Now, I acknowledge that she's a great fighter. But around the same time, maybe slightly before, Clarissa Shields changed her name to the GOAT, and which I don't have a problem with. The greatest woman of all time, I have no problem with her using that as an alias, right? Kind of like Carl the Truth Williams or, the Body Snatcher, think Sugar Shane, things like that. Sugar Ray, Iron Mike Tyson, Bomb Squad, the Bronze Bomber, those type of aliases. I don't have a problem using that as an alias. But people were trying to take that literally, and I pointed out the resume of Cecilia Braekus and said, look, hey, read that resume, read Clarissa Shields' resume, and tell me what you think when you compare those two. And I think that the argument should end right there. Clarissa Shields has a long way to go. Now, being slightly spiteful, I would also let you know that her numbers had declined on Showtime and all that good stuff, right? But after having seen this is not a boxing magazine. This is not a this is not a YouTube article. This is a health magazine that was sitting in a school for physical therapy and occupational therapy that is being read by women who are sitting there waiting there to go to the doctor. This is being waved in the face of the casualist of casualist boxing fans. So when my wife comes home and says, "Hey babe, have you heard of a fighter named Clarissa Shields? Is she good? What's that about?" I think to myself, okay, yeah, she's starting to break some barriers down in boxing, because that has never happened for me as it relates to it's never happened to me for Cecilia Braekus. It happened for Layla Ali. You know, Layla Ali was somebody where people, like, even now to this day, you'll see Layla Ali on magazine articles and things like that. But you know, that's Layla Ali. And when we were having all kind of debates about Layla Ali versus Clarissa Shields, I tried to be very as blunt as I possibly could be about Clarissa Shields and Layla Ali. Clarissa Shields is the real deal. I wasn't so sure about Layla Ali. Layla Ali was instantly famous, instantly got opportunities, because Layla Ali is Layla Ali, the daughter of Muhammad Ali. And so consequently, she has a father with a gigantic, monstrously gigantic fan base. So to get people to recognize Layla Ali, who is also a very attractive woman, to get them interested in her, and she talks a good game. Hey man, that was a lot of what was behind Layla Ali. What's behind Clarissa Shields is Clarissa Shields. What's behind Clarissa Shields is Clarissa Shields' accomplishment as a two-time Olympic gold medalist, as being a unified undisputed champion at 100, a champion at 168, an undisputed champion at 160, and walking up on an undisputed championship at 154. Now, so that is just something that I think it's just significant, man. And to have Cecilia Braekus. Now, the reason Cecilia Braekus was talking about Clarissa Shields was she was talking about the love, that she had a fight of hers postponed, and but this is what she does. This is what she does. This is what she loves. And in the midst of that conversation, she talked about the other great women fighters. And she mentioned Layla Ali. I think she might forget. I don't have the article in front of me right now. I think she might have mentioned Ann Wolfe or Christy Martin, but she names herself. She named several retired fighters that were great women fighters. And then she mentioned only two fighters that are currently fighting. And she said Clarissa Shields, and she mentioned Katie Taylor as true fighters, women that love the sport, women that do this, that are into boxing because they love boxing, as opposed to, and this is me doing the as opposed to, women that are trying to make a living, that are, just picked up the sport, that are getting in there, learning as they go. She's saying that fighters like, at least from what I can get out of it, because that's the case with Clarissa Shields, with Katie Taylor, and with Cecilia Braekus. They are highly technical, highly skilled fighters. And it's not something they picked up willy-nilly. It's something that they've been training for and doing since they were as young as they were able to actually do it. Now, Clarissa Shields coming from Flint, Michigan, in the Michigan area, in the state of Michigan, where there is so many great boxers. There's such a great lineage of boxers. That she came from an area where people loved boxing, and she did it from a very early age. Katie Taylor, I do believe, is Irish, and you can see the same thing with Katie Taylor in Ireland, and the boxing culture in Ireland. And also, but not like Cecilia Braekus. Cecilia Braekus came from, I do believe she's from Norway, where boxing was illegal, but from a young age, she was able to go to a gym, but she would sneak out of her bedroom window and creep down and to get out of her house to go get to practice against the wishes of her parents. But she had such a desire for combat sports and love for combat sports that she did it, and she made boxing hot in Norway single-handedly. But when you talk about the idea of, when I think of, a great fighter, the word great really can mean, that you're very, very good in the ring, but also that you do exceptional things outside the ring. and you start to, you're known outside of the general, the real hardcore boxing fans. And when I see this type of stuff out of Clarissa Shields, it just, and my wife is talking about her, I have to say, all right, man, let me set down the Ali Bashir issue. Let me sit down the idea that, she's already accomplished more than say somebody like a Cecilia Braekus, or that she would have, beaten somebody like Ann Wolfe. I believe she would have always at any point in time would have beaten Layla Ali, but not, I'm not so sure about an Ann Wolfe. Regardless, she is definitely becoming a great female fighter. She, even right now, from what I can see, she has to be considered close to be considered a top 5 all-time great for female fighters. I mean, you can put, Ann Wolfe, Lucia Riker. I think Christy Martin is more like a tomato can beater, but Ann Wolfe, Cecilia Braekus, Lucia Riker, and Clarissa Shields should be getting right up in that conversation with them, from what I can see. So, this is a little, after I saw this, I was like, I cannot, in all honesty, not point out that this happened and let the people that are members of my channel and subscribers to my channel who vehemently disagreed with my stance on Clarissa Shields. On Clarissa Shields, to let you know, yeah, man, she's making some strides. So anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. With that, I'm out. Peace.